Now at the most basic level, variables are just letters. So we can have A, B, C, D to Z. Does that make sense? Now the coefficient of a variable is the number multiplying the variable. So the number multiplying the variable is known as the coefficient of a variable. Now for example, if I have 4b, b is the variable, the number multiplying the variable, which is 4, is the coefficient. Do you understand? Now if I have, say, minus 10z, z is the variable, the number multiplying the variable, which is minus 10, is the coefficient. So don't forget, coefficient is the number multiplying a variable. Does that make sense? Let's take some examples. Alright, we've got this question. What are the coefficients of the variables below? I minus 14k. Now remember, k is the variable, the number multiplying the variable is the coefficient, so the coefficient is minus 14. Do you understand? So let's move to I, we have x. X is the variable, so the question is, what's the coefficient? Now it's like there's an invisible 1 here. Does that make sense? Because 1 times x is x, so the coefficient of x in this case is 1. Do you understand? The coefficient of p will be 1. The coefficient of z will be 1. Does that make sense? Now the question for I is, what's the coefficient of minus y? Now don't forget, there's like an invisible 1 here, so it means that the coefficient of minus y is minus 1. Does that make sense? Minus 1 times y will give us minus y. What's the coefficient of 21u? This is the variable. It means the coefficient is what? 21. Do you understand? What's the coefficient of minus 18v? V is the variable. The coefficient is minus 18. I hope you understand. Now, as we did in the last video, variables can also have signs. For example, the sign of 2a is plus. Does that make sense? The sign of minus 11b is minus. The sign before it. So if I have more than one variable, let's say 2a minus 10b minus 15z. Now the sign of 2a is plus. The sign of 10b is the sign before it, that's minus. The sign of 15z is minus. Does that make sense?